Hey guys, if you're new here and you like what I'm putting out, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss an upload. Hey guys, what's going on? Ash here, back with another Zenkaiger episode review, discussion, breakdown, mini podcast, whatever you want to call it, where we're going to be talking about Zenkaiger and this week's episode, which was episode 6, I believe. And this episode was really wacky, and I enjoyed it quite a fair bit, because this episode had a lot of gags going for it, but we also got some very interesting plot reveals in this episode, and we're going to talk about it in this video right now. So, Zenkaiger episode 6. This episode was really wacky. It had a lot of interesting gags and jokes going for it. Something that I really did enjoy. Like, most of these gags that I saw in this episode, there were visual gags, there were pun gags. A lot of them I enjoyed quite a fair bit what it had going for it. But not only that, we were introduced to a brand new character that's probably going to be a major player in the story moving forward, and that is Stacey. Now, we didn't get their name right away, but from what I've heard when it comes to scans and stuff like that, their name is Stacey. And this is a brand new general who is apparently the son of Commander Barashitahara. I believe that's what their name is pronounced. The big tank general that we've seen in the past episode. But what's really interesting is this character looks human, but apparently it's the son of a Kikanoid, one of the generals that we've seen, or the commanders, which is really weird. I wonder how they're going to explain that. But this character, I'm really excited for, especially when what we got in the preview for next week's episode with what their powers are and what they look like transformed, because we've seen that through scans and stuff like that, and they look really interesting. And I'm excited to see what this character can do, because they've teased, like I said, in next week's episode trailer, that they're going to be the rival for Kaito. And I really like that they made it a human character, so that way Kaito can have someone who he's a rival to, who he can compete with, and I really do like that a lot. So whatever this character is and what they can do moving forward, I'm really excited to see that. So this episode is a bit of a Majin focused episode and a bit of a Vroom focused episode, where he plays a big supporting role in this episode as well. So the whole premise of this episode is Majin. She's a bit of a messy person, she's a bit of a slob, she leaves her rubbish lying around. I'm sure we've all done it ourselves or known someone like that before. I'm probably a little bit guilty of that myself. Sometimes I don't always pick up my rubbish, but most of the time I do. But enough about me, let's talk about the episode. So the whole monster of the week is this trash monster, and he makes trash everywhere, all over the city. And there's some really good gags in this episode, like when Vroom gets all the Zenkaigers together and they begin having a big cleaning up party. Kind of remind me of early episodes of Mighty Morphin, where they'd be like, we gotta pick up the trash, we're the cleaning committee, except this one was more Japanese and set in Tokyo, because it's the Sentai. But they had a lot of really good running gags in this episode, such as Gowan, where he found the stuffed kitty and he thought it was an actual cat stuffed in the rubbish, and Vroom's like, oh, you're lucky that wasn't a real cat or he'd be in danger. And you've got Gowan just petting the soft cat. And then you've got Kaito, where he's like, everyone, if we work together, we'll get this job done really fast. And then he turns his head to the side and he finds a bunch of manga lying around that he's a big fan of. So then when you cut to Kaito, he's sitting around reading the manga. And then you've got Jurin, and I can't remember what the joke was with Jurin. He was getting tired or his back was hurting. But the Majin joke was she kept getting lost in the rubbish, but then you discover Majin's special talent, which she's able to find stuff in lots of rubbish. She's got that special talent. But the monster's powers was really wacky, because it was a garbage monster. He had stinky powers, he could summon loads of rubbish, he could make Trash Mountain and stuff like that. This guy had a lot of wacky abilities, but he also had this ability that made everyone super lazy, and they just got really tired very quickly, being surrounded by all this rubbish. But the only person it didn't affect was Majin. Now, they didn't really explain why it didn't affect Majin. I kind of wish they did. Maybe they did and I wasn't paying attention, but it didn't seem like they explained why it didn't affect her, and I'm guessing that's because she's used to all this rubbish and stuff like that. She's used to all this trash lying around, so it's her specialty. It doesn't bother her that much, so I really enjoyed that joke. But the joke that I really did dig that got a laugh out of me is when they fight the monster near the end of the episode. He puts all these trash bags on him, such as no burning, burn with care, or heavy load and stuff like that. He puts it all on the Zenkaigers, I think just Jun and Gao and Kaito, near the end of the episode. And when they do their roll call, they say like bulky rubbish, dinosaur power, Jurin, and stuff like that. That got a laugh out of me. I really enjoyed that joke. I dig that quite a fair bit. But not only that, we got to see the Go-Busters powers being used, and Go-Busters was Power Ranger Beast Morph as we saw in the US, and we got to see these powers as well. But what's also really funny is when Kaito, they do the trash roll call, Kaito says, "We're the first trash team," and then it has this weird fourth wall breaking gag where it cuts to the parrot guy section, and he's like, "Really, that's the first? I have to write this down and add it to the wiki," or something like that. And it cuts to him going to Google and he's about to add it to the internet. So I really dig that fourth wall gag that they did with section. I really enjoyed that quite a fair bit. That got a laugh out of me with how wacky and out of place it was. But there's also another gag that I really did enjoy, and that was when the monster tries to retreat, he jumps into the pile of trash, and Margine does this huge magic show where she goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I will show you my special trick," and Vroom's out there helping, and he waves the flag out, and she's able to pull the monster out of the trash, and that's how they destroy him when they blow him up at the end. That was a really fun gag as well. And also the closing gag where Margine's like, "I learnt my lesson, I'm going to tidy up more now, and I'll do my best." And then she just leaves her rubbish of all the candy on the table and walks away, and the grandma screams at her. That was a fun little closing gag, because she's like, "I learnt my lesson," but she still makes a little mistake at the end. I enjoyed that quite a fair bit. And like I said, the cliffhanger at the end of this week's episode was Stacey appears in the bad guy's base, and he goes, "That's no way to greet your son, father," and there's just like the big moment, the nani. That's the big moment it closes in on. But yeah, overall, I think it was a really fun episode of Zenkaiger. I enjoyed it quite a fair bit. I am enjoying it still. I'm still watching it weekly. I'm still reviewing it weekly. I haven't fallen off it yet. And I'm excited to keep talking about it to you guys. Next week's episode I'm really excited about because I talked about it when the scans were revealed a couple of weeks ago. And I'm excited to see how this is going to execute, because if you've seen the preview for next week's episode that's going to air on the upcoming Sunday, that looks like it's going to be a wacky episode with all the past Rangers and all the past mechs showing up. That is going to be crazy, and I can't wait to see how they execute it with Stacey's powers, because from what I've heard from what people have translated in the scans and stuff like that, Stacey has the power to turn the Kikinoids or the Tojitendo into past Sentai teams and Sentai mechs, so that's going to be a really interesting powers with the evil gears that they use moving forward in the nearby future. I can't wait to see that, and I'm curious how they're going to execute it. But like I said, overall I think this was a really fun episode. I enjoyed it quite a fair bit, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in Zenkaiger next. With that said, I think I'm going to wrap up this week's episode review / discussion / mini podcast of Zenkaiger. What did you think of this week's episode? Tell me in the comment section down below. I love to hear your thoughts and opinions. With that said, I'm going to wrap this video up now. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this review, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on all notifications. Special thanks to all the members such as Swagger4. If you want to get your name shouted out at the end of a video like Swagger4 over here, become a Zord tier member or higher for special perks such as your name in the credits of every video, shoutouts at the end of every video, and stuff like that. With that said, I'm going to wrap this video up now. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day or night, and peace out. Bye!